welcome back to the Curious Kid podcast. We got curious about the periodic table about 7 months ago. Have you listened to that episode? It was super interesting. You may remember that the periodic table is a big chart that lists all of the discovered elements. It's essentially the ingredients that make up everything on Earth. Well, there is one element in particular that a bunch of listeners want us to get curious about. Can you guess which element that might be? Nope, it's not Rutherfordium. Let's find out which one it is.
Quintuple mailbag!
Quintuple mailbag!
Hi, my name is Ty. I'm 11 years old. I'm from Johnston, Iowa, and I was curious about the gold rush. Thanks.
Hi, Jacob and Olivia. I love your podcast, and me and my mom, Tempa, listen to your podcast every single night when I take a bath. I am curious about the Statue of Liberty, gold, and fairies. I love your podcast, and we have listened to a whole bunch of your episodes. My favorite episodes are curious about chess, owls, and crystals. Avery from Oregon. Hi, Curious Kid Podcast. I'm Lochlan. I'm 7.5 years old, and I live in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Thanks for making the podcast. We really enjoy listening to it at bedtime. I'm curious about liquids and fluids. How is liquid made? I'm also curious about gold. What is gold and what is it made up of? Why is it so valuable? Thanks, Lochlan. Hi, this is Micah, age 8, and Malachi, age 6, from Anaheim, California. We have been listening to your podcast for over 2 years and enjoy learning about new and different topics. Listening to the podcast also enhances our homeschool learning experience. We usually listen when we are eating breakfast or lunch. We are curious about gold and would like to know more about it. Learning more about gold will also go along with our history this year as we are studying California history, including the Gold Rush. Thanks so much for all you do. Hi, Curious Kid Podcast. My name is Cooper K, and I am 5 years old. I love your podcast. I listen to it in the car and at home, and it's really fun. Can you please do an episode all about gold? I think gold is really cool. It's shiny and people dig for it, and pirates liked it too. I want to know where it comes from, why it's so special, and if there's gold in space. Thank you for making awesome episodes. I can't wait to hear more from Cooper K, age 5.
Dad, I really think we struck gold with those magnificent messages. We are so pumped to get curious about gold for Ty, Avery, Lochlan, Micah, Malachi, and Cooper.
There is so much to know about one of the shiniest, oldest, and most fascinating elements on Earth, gold. So let's kick things off with the question of the week.
If you finish in first place at an Olympic event, you are supposed to get a gold medal. The crazy thing is that the gold medal is not pure gold. It hasn't been pure gold since the 1912 Olympics. An Olympic gold medal only has 6 grams of gold in it. That's a tiny amount. The question of the week is, which other element on the periodic table is most of an Olympic gold medal made from?
Interesting question, and that stinks for Olympic gold medalists. I wonder if they know that their gold medals only have a teeny bit of gold in them. If anyone listening to the podcast happens to know Michael Phelps, please don't share this fact with him. He has won 23 gold medals, or at least he might think they're pure gold. All right. Back to the task at hand. Let's learn all about gold, its science, history, and also some weird facts. We will also solve some mysteries along the way, like why it's yellow, why people go wild for it, and whether an entire city of gold really existed. Prepare yourself for lots of golden knowledge nuggets about glamorous gold.
You might be wondering, what makes gold gold? Well, it's a chemical element. That means that it's one of the building blocks of everything in our universe. It has a special spot on the periodic table. It's an element number 79, which means every gold atom has 79 protons in its nucleus.
But beyond the chemistry, gold is the only metal that's naturally yellow. Most metals are gray, silver, or even brown. But gold stands out. And it's super soft for a metal. Soft enough that you can bend it with your fingers or flatten it into almost invisible sheets.
And it's also really heavy for how it looks. Gold's density is around 19 times heavier than water. So that's why even a tiny piece of gold feels so solid.
Gold doesn't rust or tarnish. You know how metals like iron rust? Gold doesn't. That durability is part of why it's so coveted. It's forever shiny.
So, why did humans fall in love with gold? Let's talk history. Thousands of years ago, as soon as people figured out how to shape metal, they found gold and instantly went, wow, this is special.
Archaeologists have found gold jewelry from ancient Egypt dating back over 5,000 years. Pharaohs prized gold for its beauty and believed it was the skin of the gods. Sun gods featured heavily in their mythology, and gold that reflected sunlight seemed divine.
Some cultures thought gold had magical properties. If you wore it, you'd be blessed. If you buried it with you, you'd take your treasure to the afterlife.
Then there's the legend of El Dorado, the city supposedly made entirely of gold. Spanish explorers in South America heard tales of golden cities ruled by golden kings. They searched for years and never found anything, but the myth ended up reshaping maps and adventure tales forever.
Of course it did. And fast forward to the California gold rush in 1849, when thousands rushed to dig dirt and streams, hoping to strike it rich. Some became wealthy, but many returned home disappointed, dirty, and broke, though they had epic stories to tell. If you ever wondered why the San Francisco NFL team is called the 49ers, because that's a pretty strange name. It's because of the California Gold Rush of 1849. It also explains why the color gold can be found in the 49ers logo and uniform.
Each gold rush, California, Australia, and South Africa, brought new settlements, economies, and sometimes environmental chaos. Gold shaped entire nations.
So, how does gold show up in nature? Well, most gold is found in veins underground or in rivers as tiny flakes and nuggets.
Prospectors learned that streams often washed gold downstream and trapped it in bends or behind boulders. That's how panning works, swirling water out of a river mud until only the heavy gold flakes settle at the bottom. It's messy, repetitive, but oddly satisfying.
Industrial mining uses giant machines or underground tunnels to extract gold from rock. Once it's removed, miners crush the rock, mix it with water, and use chemicals like cyanide to separate gold. Then they heat it to melt and purify into bars.
Not exactly gold panning with your grandma anymore, but it's efficient. Some gold mines are deeper than skyscrapers are tall. It's a big global industry.
There's also gold in electronics, tiny amounts, but worth billions around the world. When you scrap an old phone or computer, that precious gold is hidden inside circuits. Some recycling plants specialize just in gold extraction from electronics.
Now let's geek out a bit and talk about gold's properties. First, electricity. Gold is one of the best conductors, better than copper in some ways. That's why high-end electronics, connectors, and spacecraft parts often use gold plating.
Plus, gold is reflective. If you want a mirror that resists tarnishing, gold is a great coating. Astronomers sometimes use gold in telescopes to reflect infrared light.
Another fascinating detail, gold is so soft you can beat a single gold ounce into a sheet covering over 300 square feet, less than a millimeter thick. That is technical flexibility.
This also connects to gold leaf in art and architecture. Many churches and temples have golden domes or decorations made from those ultra-thin sheets.
Chemically, gold is unreactive. It doesn't combine with oxygen or common acids. You need a mix called aqua regia, a combo of nitric acid and hydrochloric acid to dissolve gold. That's how it was purified for centuries.
Gold is used as money because of its properties: scarce, durable, and hard to counterfeit, which means that it's hard to make fake gold. Older societies used gold coins, and many countries backed their currencies with gold reserves, known as the gold standard.
For a long time, you could exchange paper money for gold. It kept governments honest for a while, but in the 20th century, countries moved away from that system so they could flex economic muscles without being limited by physical gold.
Still, many countries have tons of gold in vaults, like Fort Knox in the US or Bank of England gold vaults. It's wealth you can touch and store.
We call this kind of wealth fiat currency plus gold. Even today, when people panic, like during economic recessions, they buy gold because it holds value, unlike paper currencies.
There's something magical when someone hands you a gold ring or necklace. It feels precious and timeless. Why do people love gold jewelry so much?
Gold doesn't just look beautiful, it stays shiny forever. You can wear it every day, swim or sweat in it, and it won't rust. That's a big deal when silver or other metals turn dull.
Because gold is soft, jewelry makers sometimes mix it with other metals like copper, silver, and nickel to make it stronger. That creates different kinds of gold. 24 karat is pure, 18 karat is 75% gold, and 14 karat is about 58% gold.
And the colors are amazing. Yellow gold has that classic sunlight glow. White gold is mixed with nickel or palladium and coated with rhodium for a silvery shine, and rose gold, pinkish, gets its hue from copper.
Gold gets a lot of play in science too. Stepping into space, satellites and astronauts' visors are coated with gold. It reflects harmful infrared rays and protects from intense sunlight.
Gold nanoparticles are tiny particles, so small you need a microscope to see them. Scientists use them in medical research, sensors, and experimental cancer treatments.
Believe it or not, gold has been used in medicine for centuries. Ancient Egyptians and medieval doctors thought gold could treat ulcers, heart conditions, and mental illness. Most of that wasn't legit, though it was harmless.
Cut to modern medicine, and gold has a real place. In the 1920s, gold salts were used to treat rheumatoid arthritis, as it is believed to reduce inflammation.
Doctors also use gold-plated equipment in dentistry and in surgeries to prevent infection. That's because gold doesn't react with the body and it stays sanitary. Are you ready for a few more crazy facts about gold? Well, who better to deliver those facts than the Golden Boy himself? Here, with 5 unbelievable facts you need to know about gold is Noah. Take it away, Noah!
Fact number 1. A single ounce of gold can be stretched into a wire over 50 miles long. Fact number 2. There's gold in space. Scientists found gold by exploding stars. Every gold atom on Earth was formed in supernova or by collision of stars. Fact number 3. The world's oceans are home to about 10 billion tons of gold. Unfortunately, it would cost way more to get that gold from the oceans than it costs to mine the gold on land. Fact number 4. The boiling point of gold is 5,137 degrees Fahrenheit, or 2,836 degrees Celsius. That means that it would take ridiculously high temperatures to boil gold. Fact number 5. Gold is a lot rarer than diamonds. That being said, it's still the 58th rarest element.
Noah crushing it with 5 golden nuggets of knowledge as usual. One more golden fact to go, which is the answer to the question of the week. If you thought that Olympic gold medals were made mostly of gold, that would be understandable because they're called gold medals. It turns out that there is just a tiny bit of gold on gold medals that covers another medal that makes up most of Olympic gold medals. Which medal is it?
Olympic gold medals are almost entirely made of silver. You must be wondering what the silver medals are made of then. Well, the silver medal is actually solid silver. As for the bronze medal, well, it turns out that the Olympic bronze medal is mostly copper. What a bummer.
That's an Olympic-sized letdown. Well, that's a wrap for this week's episode.
Thanks so much for listening to this week's podcast, number 321 on gold.
Great job, Olivia, and great job to Ty, Avery, Lochlan, Micah, Malachi, and Cooper for giving us an episode topic suggestion as good as gold. In fact, it was gold. Before we say goodbye, we have a couple of listeners to thank.
We want to thank our newest Patreon supporters, James, William, and Emma G.
A big thanks to James, William, and Emma for the support. If you want to find out what all the fuss is about on Patreon, you should check out all the extra goodies available to our Patreon supporters. Join us next week when we will get curious about pain for a listener in New York City. As always, thank you so much for listening and getting curious with us.